just wanted to put out a quick one. I'm doing a lot of editing, heavy editing. There's a few more talks lined up. There's working on publishing the book, editing the formatting, organization, and headings. And I just wanted to put this out. Instead of doing a quick type up, I just kind of wanted to talk about it because it's still fresh in my head for the most part. Maybe my holographic field. Let me stop clapping. I have to clean the audio afterwards. So it's about basically the potentiality of the world, and then the potentiality of the world as it relates to your physical beingness, which connects through a kind of energetic continuum. Which is kind of like wordy, confusing. But the idea is that the groups that are on the other side, or interacting and tethering into this material world or this timeline through advanced technology, the idea is that you have like a timeline, or an arrow, whatever it is. It's an anchor point, and then you have a expansion that is restricted by the amount of possibilities, or the nature of the possibilities that it could go to, that are tethered from whatever angle of momentum, or that's not really the proper word, but it technically connects to angular momentum of like electrons and stuff. That's like the coding, the formatting of this reality. But there's a nature or an amount of potential of possibilities that are each connected in a different degree, basically a different amount, level of likelihood to that anchor, which is the present moment here. And so we have a physical present moment, the line segment part of a timeline, and then we have the arrows which go, and where they lead to, actually it kind of fuzzes out because it's a plethora, or an amount of potentiality of possibilities that have not manifested yet, and so they can be exchanged for any likely possibility. And the thing is that it's a gradient of a very dense, thick kind of cloud at first, and then it fuzzes out to be more and more less not reasonable, but less likely, and less, in that sense of this metaphor, less substantial. So it's literally like a cloud. And so the likelihood that I'm going to jump up and touch the ceiling and like hang there is literally like as far as me being on Jupiter right now is. It's a completely distant cloud of probability in reference to this physical moment. But then the likelihood that I'm going to have a sip of water or something like that is literally, you can see the line, or the curved part of the arrow of the segment going into it, as if it's about to happen because it's almost already there. And the fact that I could go downstairs to get some carrot juice or something, it is just as present. It's not just as present, but it's on the level of being like physical. You can see it if you could see these possibilities, but it's further than that one because I already did that today, and I'm probably not going to do it for a few more hours. And so it's further. And so you have that idea. The idea, or that layout. The idea, and it's only going to really be seen that way, is if it's in an advanced technology, or you're viewing through advanced technology and you bring it up on a screen, or if you view within and you go into this other state where you're maybe in what people call the astral or something like that, and you'll view these things metaphysically. And so to add in right there, the astral is a technological overlay that has created a alternate potentiality realm by these advanced technology devices, and that's where these entities come in through. Meaning, you cut off the devices, it's just us and the Most High, which is the other realm. Now we have an intermediary realm, we have the highest realm. In the intermediary, you get all types of entities and things that have built up over time, like barnacles on the bottom of a ship or something. And so the idea is that these beings, or not these beings, well, technically these beings as well, like your imaginative beings or dreams or something like that. But the idea is these operatives, or these scientists, I don't really need to get too specific, but they found a way to view these realms, and in a way interact with this material world from the view of on the unmanifested side. Meaning, when they look at reality, because of where they are, because they basically constructed these underground bases, or these vortex area bases, as a kind of bridgeway between dimensions, when they go from there and bring a monitor or a series of monitors or holograms or whatever and look at what's going on Earth, what's going on in the place we were just at, what's going on in the future, they don't see Earth. They don't see one of them. They see all the likelihoods, all the possibilities, all the potentials, because they're seeing from that unmanifested state. They're phased out. And so it's very strange, but the idea is then, this is like the kicker or the big whoop, whatever I say, is that what it means is that for us, we see what we have here, and we see the basic possibilities that we can access because we know we're involved with them. When they look, they see those possibilities. Meaning, if you plan in your mind, I'm going to go, say there's a mailbox drop-off base, and it's, or a little, like one of the blue things, and it says literally 2 secret underground base. What this means is that from their point of view, if you go in your mind and say, oh, I have a message, whatever, tomorrow you're going to drop off a letter. So today you write that letter, and you know in your mind tomorrow before work or wherever you're going to go, you're going to pass by that thing, and it's almost a certainty that you're going to drop off the letter. And if in the likelihood of the majority of the possibilities, it doesn't thunderstorm, nobody knocks the mailbox over, nothing happens, and you do go and drop it off. It's a probability that is more or less kind of certain or secure, and there's really nothing that's certain except for a few things. These are baseline foundations of the timeline, but that's another aspect of this. And so that means we have access to that possibility. You can think about it, mull over it, whatever you want. From their point of view, being in the world of that potential, the letter arrives. It's already there because you imagined it, because it's a possibility that's near certainty. So they're in the world where all the things that could be are relative and solid to them, and when they look at what is, there's no one reality. They look at and they see all the realities that could connect to the possibilities that they're viewing from their perspective. Meaning they're kind of like in this etheric, non-material reality that's propagated by these devices that create these kind of temporal distortion fields. But it's which is kind of hard to describe, but they're basically making an electric bubble that they enter into the dream time with, and they're in the collective unconscious of humanity, which is this big etheric magnetic field around all of this. It's not just like it's a la-la land. It's a liquid etheric light field. But the idea is they devised a way to propagate themselves through a consistent manner, so they're not like floating around and stuff like that. They're just walking around in a base, and they have craft. But the craft itself and the vortex area that surrounds the base technically is floating between dimensions, between timelines. It's not on one particular Earth. You're not on one particular Earth, you're on the other ones. But the point is, the difference is because you're not synchronized and stabilized unless you go within to the soul level, which is not the ego and is the one that's connected across all of them, that the one that's here, if you say, hey me, whatever, and you say something, well the one over there, unless you just happen to say that, isn't going to say it. So they're at a difference. Because they're stabilized in this interdimensional field, the one that is in this one, and then the one that's in the other one, in other words, the one that's in the one where you stub your toe, and the one that you drop the thing off, and the one that you don't, they're seeing all of them, because from their angle, they can see all of those realities, those possibilities, those timelines. Very weird, but that's the basis of it. And so they're in a realm where the potentiality, the possibilities, is the foundation for what they experience, where here we're in the realm where only what we have here is the potentiality for what we experience, and the potentiality and the possibilities that we could experience is only what we can imagine and is relative to us. We're not using advanced technology to calculate the differences in the possibilities and construct simulated realities that play out each one. And at first, sorry for rambling, but I'm editing and I want to get this out quick. And I technically make like 40-minute videos when I try to make 5-minute videos. So the idea is that at first you use a computer, you calculate. You use a linear computational model to calculate the possibilities, and you crunch the numbers and you climb all the way up until you can see everything. The actual techno-organic even method of this is literally accessing the field directly and seeing what's already there. Not going what's here and starting from the anchor point and counting your way up to the possibilities, but simply seeing where you are and then deviating from that into a kind of hyper-extended realm, and being able to, from that state, just put out sensors or monitors or observers, remote viewers, that just view. And when you've learned how to just view, you don't have to count the possibilities. You see that they're already present. And we're in this type of computational construct or matrix where it's literally just pulsing out possibilities and probabilities like a 3.5D printer or something. And then it gets into some weird stuff about the fact that we don't really want to be in a place where we're just all entangled up, or at least we want to be somewhere where the different versions of us learn what's going on, and we can communicate to each other and gain the power back. And when we do that, what happens to the possibilities if you're synchronized with the one that's over there? Well, you're going to be doing the same thing, right? If it's not something that is dependent on something that's localized to that world only, then say, for instance, it's a certainty that you want to put that note in the mailbox, and it's something so important to you that you know you're going to do it and nothing gets in the way. And even in the one where there's a thunderstorm or an earthquake, you still make it go that little mailbox portal and you put it in there. That would mean that the moment that you do that act, every one of those realities has synchronized from what's going on inside your mind. You've synchronized yourself across all of them. That synchro point, it means that your thoughts from that exact point on are synchronized. And if you go, all right, it's literally like a team meeting up and going, all right, align your watches, it's about to be 1 o'clock. And as soon as 1 o'clock hits, everybody watching the main guy's watch presses their watch and starts their clock. That means everyone is on the same team. Everything that's there, they can think about where they are according to this map and align themselves. So if you have a schedule that you know all the other views has aligned to, and you set up a synchro point where as soon as that point starts, you synchronize what you're going to be doing from there on out, all of your other views are organized across this interdimensional or extra dimensional plan to bring about some goal, whatever the goal is. That goal will be done with more power than any other reality or any other experience you've ever had, because it will have the power of every version of you that is in these realms of possibilities. That's a way of utilizing your body, your power, and your mind by making this body here have the power of all the other versions of you. And it means your temporal body, or this energy body, which is another way of kind of looking at your mind, but it's kind of like a different frequency of your mind. It's as if the probability, like the line segment and then the wave of probabilities, and how it's dense here but fans out a lot. So if you're all doing different things, then that energy body, it has the power of, if you were on Jupiter or something like that, kind of how my screen looks. It's all like fanning out or looking fuzzy and stuff like that. If you synchronize yourself, meditation is another way, or basically what these are actions. They're interdimensional synchronization occurrences. There's another word for them, there's other names, but I'm not going to go into that now. But the idea is, if you do that, that energy body that's going, what am I going to do next? What are these possibilities that's not here physically, but are encoded in energy around me? It becomes part of that densest one, that dense one, and all of them are connected. And it's as if you're building this not like barnacles or something of possibilities growing or negative, not factions, but like these entities growing, but like a flower that's beginning to bloom. And instead of the shadow of light being real fuzzy and you can't see it, it literally begins to become visible and glow with your energy, because every action you do there is not just something that's given from the whole of your being as you are in this one place. It's all of the versions of you in all the possibilities and timelines. We've been taught to not do that, to not be synchronized, to not think from the soul level, the unconscious but pure intent level, and to see just from the ego what's happening here and now in this physical body, which is only relative to one timeline. You have the physical body in other timelines, but that chemistry, that chain reaction of events, all of that is particular to this one. It happens different in each one because that's the natural domino type computational physical cause and effect, and it's never happened the exact same. That's why each one is slightly different physically. If you link the mind of it together, then you get that power and you get that knowing. And as well, you do that by syncing the mind. You do that by analyzing where you've gone, what you've been through, where you're coming and from and going to, and you organize the possibilities in a kind of computational, organic viewing aspect, a pure observational aspect through the spirit. And from there, you instead of doing things and adding to that computational system, often based upon the ego, which is that domino set of your computerized physical body or the brain, instead of this pure spirit, which is actual or organic intent, and you sit there and you don't do anything, and then whatever you do next, you know you do because that's what you have to do across all of the dimensions or all of the possible timelines and versions of you. And in that sense, you learn what you have to do, not because you want to do it here and now, or because this physical body or the ego or somebody else, but because your soul level wants you to do it, and you attain actual fruition of intention, or what's drawing you forwards in time, not in just this material world to go get an apple or to go, do this or relax that way or go stand in the sun, which is more of one of the closer natural things, because the sun is in all the realities. But say I have an apple right there. Well, not in every reality here is the apple right there. So say I go here to eat the apple, in another reality I might have to go downstairs and so on. So we're going to be slightly out of sync, even though we would be closer than playing a video game, going to smoke a cigarette and doing something else. That's completely, there's no integration between those. And so the idea is by clearing your schedule of this extra dimensional version of the multiple versions of yous, and then synchronizing yourself by doing the action according to a cosmic plan, which is inherently known by the spirit and not the conscious mind, and using that as a guideline or a guidepost or a kind of schedule outline to then shape your life from there. When we do that, everything grows into a convergence and it moves in sync and it literally becomes one again, and you're compressing the fractalized versions of the possible versions of you into into one synchronized form, kind of like a dancer, and there's a bunch of dancers, and now you have the monitor set of 5, 6, or 8 of them, and they're all at different times. And so you put out the call, everybody silence, go sit down in the center of the floor, and all the monitors take their time, and that's the thing. You do it according to something that you can use to synchronize. A certain day, or a certain event, or a certain, it has to be an event and a synchro that's, is simultaneous and synonymous through all of the possible timelines. If you say, right now because I have to go to the bathroom right now, well, in the other one you might not have to go to the bathroom right now. So it's not that way. It's the way of, say, a natural event or something like that. Something so big that you know it's happening across all the timelines. And so what you say is, everybody, when that thing starts, you go sit down over here. Now, once that ends, whatever that is, now you get up and begin your dance. And once all the monitors, if everyone does that, all the monitors, then they're all moving in sync. Every single dancer or whatever it is, when one spins and does the pirouette, I think it's the word, they're all doing it kind of like a synchronized swimming or dancing or something. And what that means, if all of them want to go now and contact the inner soul level, the band of energy that they're contacting with is all the same. It's not on this monitor, it's like this. On this one, well, that guy's eating something, so it's like there's no energy here. He's not thinking, he's thinking about a hamburger or something like that. And on this monitor, so you have a band here, then nothing there, the band here, then some that's kind of there, and it just like that. No, when you have them all synchronized, you have a thick band of pure energy above them when they go into that mode, and that's how you contact this higher view of yourself, this extra dimensional quality of your own mind, and it's a spiritual aspect. And beyond that, it's hard to describe, because it's not like you flip a switch and now you get better results, or there's like a ratio of you get in the mail that tells you you're good, or something's happening, or you go inside of a machine and you can like scoop up the amount of goodness that's pouring out of your brain. It's not something you see, it's something you feel. And but the idea is, it's things happen that begin to align with your higher self, and you begin to have it's like a clarity. When you have a prism and you see that they're all scattered about and they're kind of shining in different directions, and imagine then the prism is a hologram is shooting through it, so it's an image, and so you have not a light that's splayed out, it's an image that's kind of like discombobulated, like you just blurred an image up. Imagine taking the prism out, unfolding it, and then shining them all back together towards a centerpiece, and now that the 5, 10 different holograms, or so is it like 4 or 6 in a prism, 7, and the 5 different or 7 different holograms that are all discombobulated. Now that you organized everything and synchronized the angular variation, they compress over the same area, and it's one thick, clear, perfectly crystal clear hologram, and that's your mind. That's what happens basically. You induce clarity, and it's clarity across the universe, because they're, or multiverse, some might say, but it's really a parallel of times, and you induce that clarity, and that feeling is it's basically the energy that's within you. It begins to become, that's the hologram, and it's around you, and that becomes pure clear. Basically, you begin to be, what is you is not the thing you can see here. You awaken a long body in time where what is you, what you are, is now mind, this interconnected being of mind that's across all realities. Because technically, is that not you? The thing that's acting, it's not a thing, but the identity that is acting and controlling and guiding the situation the most. If you are just discombobulated throughout all the dimensions and timelines, then what you are is the very small, minute one that's separated in each one. If you are connected throughout all of them, then what you are is this larger omni-being, this harmonic resonance that combines into this over-unity of knowing and doing that is across all of them. And you become that larger being. And it's a feeling, but you know when it begins. I just wanted to say that real quick, because I want to say a lot, and I got to edit and finish this. That'll come out soon. Maybe another talk that I just had last night. And I got a few more lined up. Thank you. I hope that was somewhat sensible.